Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Bahati Life YouTube channel. It's Jessica Alexandria from Bahati Life, professional astrologer, tarot, and intuitive reader. Thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out with me once again. So today we are going to be checking in with the messages and warnings and guidance and advice that Spirit can give to us for this week ahead, or whenever it is that you are tuning in. I ask for clarity. I ask for discernment. I ask for guidance. This reading is for the collective. So Spirit guides, divine, I ask that their guides and their energies be open and willing to working with us today in order to, oh my goodness, so sorry. I don't know, that's never happened to me. I think that happened at 111 too. Wow, shoot. Yeah, in order to pass along a message. I'm actually getting, okay, well, let me finish my prayer first. Yeah, I asked for the guides to work with the collective guides in order to give a message for those who are meant to receive it. And I ask for the discernment and the clarity for each person to know what is for them, and that there be a message in here for everyone. Divine, I ask for protection, deep protection over me as I stretch and work my gifts for the collective. I also ask that you give me sharp, razor sharp accuracy when it comes to the situations and messages that you are delivering, that you want to be received, that you want to give, and that anything that's not for their highest and greatest good, that it be withheld. All right. So I am getting, I heard abrupt departure with this Eight of Cups. With this Eight of Cups card, it feels like something is clearly abruptly ending and walking out. Like something is, I'm almost seeing like I'm getting a vision of a car crash, and someone, instead of like dealing with the car crash, they just kind of like walk away from it. So that could literally be a message all by itself. Like that could be actual literal, or it could be metaphor of someone walking away from something instead of dealing with it. There's this heightened sense of disappointment on the spiritual realm with how this person is handling this. And Spirit is, I'm almost seeing Spirit kind of taking a note. And then I just heard they're going to adjust themselves accordingly based upon how someone reacts. So this is a distinct warning this week that if there's something that you need to deal with, do not depart from it. Do not abandon it. Deal with it, because karma is really going to be working. And it's interesting because the Wheel of Fortune card is here. Let's say you decide that you don't want to deal with this. Let's say that this is you and you decide that you don't want to deal with this thing that you just don't want to see, you don't want to handle, you don't want to address. Spirit is not going to allow anything in your life to progress until it is dealt with, it is handled, and it has to be handled in the right way. If this is someone else in your life that you are dealing with, Spirit is not going to allow them to move forward until they handle and address what they owe you, what they did to you. For example, let's say this is a friendship that someone did something foul to you. Maybe they'll have new friendships. You might see them hanging out with new people or whatever the case is. But Spirit, those friendships they're going to be like backstabbing. There's something about this energy that feels every good. Oh, I didn't know I definitely have a rooster. My chicks are starting to grow up, so I guess I have a rooster now. But yeah, they're not going to be able to, there won't be like a good friendship until they resolve and fix what happened between you guys. If this is you, again, this is a really strong warning that the sooner you fix this, the sooner you resolve this, the better. I'm also seeing a message here about finances and resources, about if you were like spending a lot or doing a lot with your money, you can gain it back. You just have to really quit toxic patterns. And I know that sounds really obvious, but Spirit is wanting you to see this and address this week minimum. I don't know if people are still doing their taxes. There's a strong sense of handling tax stuff, giving what is owed, giving what is due. Those are things that are coming through. And as I'm saying that, I got 555 on the clock, so on the camera. Is there anything else that needs to come with this message? I just really feel this strong, someone has a strong desire to like depart, to leave things unsaid, to leave things unspoken, and Spirit simply is making a note of it and not disappointed. Wow. Then we have the 2 of Cups and the 9 of Cups. Interesting. Talk to me about that. Ace of Pentacles. I'm getting this really strong sense that someone made, like, I just heard give you what you need. They're learning. I'm getting this sense of they're learning how to give you what you need in a relationship, or you're learning how to give yourself what you need in order to prepare for a deeper connection within a relationship. This is something I just heard that you've been wanting, but also some of you guys feel like you're begging for it. Maybe not necessarily from a person. However, if it resonates, it resonates. And if that's your message, that's your message. But this could be you begging the universe for what you need when it comes to partnerships. Maybe you haven't had receptivity. Maybe you haven't had equal give and take and balance, especially with the 6 of Pentacles here. You might have been begging the universe for this. You feel like time's ticking, the clock is ticking. You really, really want this. You're ready for it. You want it to come in. And I feel like Spirit is starting to speak to me, Spirit. Like, what is it? There's a specific word you want to use for this. So what would that word be? I just heard, I haven't seen it, but I heard the word temperance. There's certain things that needed to be fostered within each individual person separately before things could come together. Or if you are together, there was a separation, or maybe you two doing different things. Someone was really exploring their options and found themselves in the arms of the Queen of Cups, looking for the energy of the Queen of Cups. So this is someone who is nurturing, someone who is emotionally mature, someone who is effortlessly giving. They were believing, I'm getting this strong sense that they were believing that they could find that out there or find that elsewhere. And the truth of the matter is that they all progress there was stunted. So now it's like they're coming back, or it's interesting because maybe they're, I don't know if it's coming back or if they're sadly leaving something, departing. I keep getting this vision of like a car crash and someone just like getting out. Like they're not even like running away from the car crash. I don't know why I would expect someone to run away from the car crash, but it's like the car crash just happens and they just get out of the car and just like walk off down the road. So it's very specific message. And I just feel like what this is telling me right now and what Spirit is showing me is that they're needing, or you are needing, a nurturing, kind heart, a helping hand, understanding. And some of you guys are not going to be open to giving that so quickly to this person. I think it has a lot to do with karma. It's almost like, well, I kind of, not like you're gloating or you're trying to tell someone like that you're not like happy in the fact that something would have happened to them, or happy that they couldn't find what they were looking for, or that you couldn't find, like you're not happy about it. It's just kind of like either this is someone else or this is your spirit guides looking at you. And they're just like, well, we did try to warn you, but you seal your own fate in the choices that you do. And that's your lesson to learn. You know, and if that's how spirit, if you guys think about it, right? For those of you guys that are overgivers, if you think about it, our angels and our guides, like if you are a person who normally like gives and extends a hand to help people, especially with Two of Cups, especially people that you love and care about, but it could be anybody. If you're a person who is constantly extending a helping hand in order to connect with someone, in order to help someone, reach out to someone, or always be available when they need you, think about what happens. Think about the imbalance that happens, right? When that continues to happen in that manner, think about what happens when your angel team, your guides, they can't make decisions and choices for you. They don't always necessarily bail you out when you make a bad choice, but they say, okay, well, moving forward, like maybe I won't be able to totally help you with this because you have to learn this lesson, but moving forward, do things differently. So they allow karma to reveal itself. They allow the karma to teach the lesson. If spirit guides do that, then you kind of have to channel the energy of the spirit guides when it comes to not being so available to bailing people out. They have to find their way to do it themselves. Now, on the flip side of that, some of you guys are waiting for your ancestors, your guides, in order to bail you out of a certain circumstance, and they're saying, no, you've got to do this yourself. You have to learn this lesson. That way, you never do this again. That way, you never repeat it again. Ten of Pentacles wanted to jump out, so this has a lot to do with ancestry, and I don't want to say wounds of the past, but with the Moon card here, certain secrets and things that you have been harboring, like holding on to, that you're not entirely sure why you do it or why you react a certain way, your angels and guides really want you to live, learn, and do differently. So Four of Cups, this is a lesson that some of you guys have a difficult time accepting or understanding. Knight of Cups is also here, and then Seven of Wands reverse. It kind of is giving me something that it's hard for you to say no to. It's something that's hard for you to just say no to. Like, it's hard for you to block. Like your spirit guides might be telling you to block something or do something different, and in order to get a different outcome, and you don't necessarily follow that advice, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. So this week is about maybe not so much you told. So for some of you guys, I don't know if you clearly have a choice to make, or someone has a choice to make here. And what they do is going to be their karma. It kind of seals the fate and what happens here, as far as, are you going to, if you decide to do right, then the door will open. If you decide to do wrong and put like an extra heap of bad juju, or the very thing that you're not supposed to be putting on your plate, if you decide to put that on your plate, then you're going to have to finish your food. Does that make sense? That's kind of the metaphor that they're giving me. Whatever it is that you put on your plate, you're going to have to eat. And if that gives you a bellyache, then you should have known. And you know by now. So with the Knight of Cups showing up, which I cleared it out now, I just remember it. With the Knight of Cups showing up and the Four of Cups, and the Seven of Wands reverse, it's like you need to know what you can take on. You need to know what is a good, I just heard estimate, like a good roundabout estimate, and just kind of have trust and have faith in that. Some of you guys really want the whole world, but the truth is like, if you were to get the whole world, you're going to get all the good of the world and you're going to get all the bad of the world. There's going to be a lot of responsibilities when it comes to that, because the world is a good place, but there's a lot of crazy things that happen here. So are you ready? Are you sure this is what you want? And something about this week feels very fated, very karmic when it comes to taking on too much, or balancing out, or taking care of what you have already taken on. And if this is not you, or maybe this is you, and you might be dealing with the same energy for someone who it has their eyes on you. I'm also feeling like, I just heard the Midas touch, but when I am seeing that, I don't see it necessarily as a good thing. I'm actually seeing people who, I don't know why I'm getting a vision of jail. People who might be doing too much or greedy. I'm getting a big, strong message here about being greedy. And Spirit is really trying to warn against that this week. Do not take on too much. Less is actually more, and I'm almost getting a sense of waiting for another opportunity. Spirit, speak to me about that, please. Yeah, there's too much about the situation that you're not fully aware of, especially, guys, if this has to do with investments, big financial investments. Even if you have done your research, there's some event, so it feels very global. There's a global event that's going to be occurring shortly. I heard shortly and thereafter. So there's a global event that's going to be happening that might, no matter how prepared you are, it feels very fated, that you do not see. Like, you may not be fully aware of, or you might have heard hints of it, but it hasn't like been confirmed yet. Like, there's no, like, it might be like rumor or like murmurings of this happening, and now it's so, and you haven't seen like actual physical evidence. There's something here that is happening. I'm also getting a big strong sense of infection. I'm getting a big strong sense of infection, something about infection. I'm also getting a strong sense of plague, like the plague. I don't know. This is what Spirit's telling me. Something about that is going to impact global policy, global economics. So I don't know if I would plan accordingly, is what Spirit is saying. I would plan accordingly to I'm also seeing a lot of people leaving one area and going to another area. It's like a quick migration. Or it's like extinct, like an area that was once like plentiful, and now all of a sudden it becomes extinct. Yeah, 7 of Cups. There's something in the works here. This one. 4 of Wands. When it comes to security, I'm getting this strong sense of not buckling down, but not battering down, but putting up like a shelter for yourself. So like fluffing up your area, making sure that you have a good safety net built up. Yeah, 9 of Swords. This is giving me very much global energy. So instead of like spending frivolously, I can never say that word, you want to lock down your finances and your resources so that you are prepared for a rainy day if and when it does occur. Yeah, 8 of Pentacles and 3 of Pentacles reverse. The 3 of Pentacles reverse is you doing your work. Are you being able to do your work or make money if there's no resources coming in? Like, how would you be able to do that? Okay, so have a backup plan when it comes to that, because it feels like there's something coming down the pipeline. I don't necessarily feel a message here of, I just heard guilt, but of fear. So Spirit doesn't want you to feel guilty for what had already happened, or to like things that you didn't know were going to happen. You know what I mean? Like you cannot, it's just also the stability here of the earth, the stability of economics, or the stability of this relationship, or the stability of this business is, you may not know, it may not be the strongest right now. So there might be some things, 100%, there's some things that you are going to need to want to work on. Hold on, guys. Let me turn on this fan really quickly. It's starting to get hot. Wow, that feels great already. Yeah, there's going to be some things that you are going to need to work on and address before you can move forward. And it's bringing me back to the original message that I started off with this week, which is take care of what you need to take care of this week. This week is going to be a week of you taking care of what needs to be done, reaching out to the advisors, reaching out to the professionals, and asking them for their advice, doing your own research, and planning for this could also be having difficult conversations. I just heard you being heard or someone else being heard. Someone has really walked away from giving an apology or seeing something. They thought that it would somehow advance the relationship or advance you guys' connection, But the reality is that it was really important that they addressed this, that they talk about it, that they prayed about it, that they gave an apology or whatever the case is, and they just kind of walked away because they didn't think that it was important enough. And now that, and it's not so much what this Four of Wands really wants to jump out, keeps wanting to jump out. It's not anything that you have done. It's not anything that you have, it's like you're not the one who gives the lesson. It's the universe that gives this person a lesson. So, and again, I don't feel like you're sitting back and gloating and being like, ha ha ha, I'm right, you're wrong. Or if this is your spirit guides towards you, they're not saying that. Like, you don't want to see someone hurting. You don't want to hurt. They don't want you to hurt. But it's like they had to find out for themselves that this is actually really important. They might have tried to look elsewhere and like invest elsewhere, and then they find out that everybody else that they cross paths with is either asking for way more from them, or they are just a lot. Like, they are a lot. There's this emphasis on a lot over there, and going and having to leave that and just be like literally a death card reversed. I don't know if I necessarily am getting a return to sender type of vibe. I feel like it's just, yeah, I'm actually getting a fresh start Fool card. It's like I said in the very beginning, instead of like almost dealing with something, they decide to kind of, or you decide to just have a fresh start. It's like walking away from a car crash. I'm getting a vision of, like, Spirit is showing me more of the details of the car that you are walking away from, right? So it's like this broken thing, and I feel like it's no shock that it ended up breaking down, you know, this mode of transportation, or this intention that you set, or this relationship, or whatever the chariot or whatever the car represents for you. The chariot didn't show up here, but it's showing up in my third eye. That's just the vision that Spirit is giving me. So it's almost like you kind of knew that it was coming because there were signs that it was faulty. There were signs that it would break down eventually. So when it finally did, or when what was faulty about it led to its crash, you don't even sit to try and work on it or work it out or wait for help to come. You just look at it and you're like, thank God I'm not hurt and I'm walking away from this. Thank God this didn't take me down further. Thank God this isn't going to be a bigger problem than it actually is. But now that I know, whenever I hear this tick, tick, tick in my car, I know that that's a sign that, you know, the engine is failing. I don't know, guys. This is just, it's like you're literally like, you learn when you know better, you do better, but you don't necessarily go back to what you just left from. Yeah. Spirit, talk to me about the Four of Wands, please. Yeah, Hangman. This is something that you really, 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 really want, believe, deserve, whisper. I'm hearing like whispering, something that you whisper about, something that you talk quietly to Spirit about, you talk quietly to yourself about, or maybe for some of you guys, maybe you have the Four of Wands here, whatever that represents, like your happily ever after, your promised land, which is a word that keeps coming up in the intuitive messages, and it's coming up again right now. It's like whatever is this promised land for you, this fruitful garden, you may know what you want, but you don't know the details of it. And I feel like that's why it's more of a whisper instead of like a declaration, like a strong declaration. So there's something about you're figuring out what your Four of Wands, like the more specific details of the Four of Wands. And this is giving me the energy of manifestation. I'm also hearing something is cooling down. So the temperature of something is cooling down. So I don't know if this means that when it becomes more colder out, like when it becomes more autumn, like fall and winter, that's when you're going to see the actual materialization of this. Or it's when someone's temper has calmed down, or when a fever has passed. It has something to do with heat and things calming, cooling down. Then we have Seven of Pentacles and the Hermit card right now. So this is a lot about, I don't want to say logic, but you, or the situation, the circumstances. I think it has to do with you reviewing what you want. Not I think, I know. This has a lot to do with you reviewing what you want. This is what I want. This is where I'm at right now. This is who I am. this is the detail. Then there's this. Then there, I want this. And then I want it to feel like this. And then this is how it shows up. And this is the timing. And it's like all of these details you're figuring out. There is a message here, especially with Hangman, Seven of Pentacles, the Hermit card, kind of taking a step back. Looking at what you have experienced, looking at what was important to you. And also, what are your core values? What are your core values? What are things that you just don't compromise on? What are the things that you truly need? And then sprinkle in with a lot of things that is that you want that would make it more fun. I think that with wants and like desire, you got to be really careful about that. I'm hearing like quick. Those are things that I feel like you can manifest quickly. Spirit is saying you can manifest them quickly because they're primal. Something about that feels very primal and very fun. Spirit is saying ask for what it is, sometimes not so much what you want, but what you need. Those things can be a little tougher to manifest because, and to bear fruit, simply because you might be afraid or have some fear in how to deal with it. So it might put a little hold on things, if that makes any sense. So for example, let's say you want, Four of Wands represents marriage, right? So let's say you want marriage, let's say you want commitment, and you know that you need to have stability, you need to have like effective and healthy communication, but a part of you knows, knowing yourself, the Hermit card, a part of you knows that healthy communication is not something that you were raised into, that you could be a little bit of a spark plug, and you might have also on top of that a fear of commitment. So you know that is what you ultimately want. You know that's the ultimate goal, but it would require a lot from you, a lot of work, a lot of responsibility, and a lot of like taking accountability in order for you to foster what it is that you need and not so much what it is that you want. So you just keep manifesting like short, passionate connections, but they keep adding to your trauma. So when you do sit down and you're like, okay, I do need this, there might be some fear and hesitation, and maybe even a blockage to you receiving that gift, for you receiving that intention, because there's a part of you that's actually pretty fearful, because maybe it's exactly what it is that you want and need. Tower card, look, a departure, a quick departure, but it's a departure from your normal. It's a departure from your everyday, and this everyday maybe not be the thing that makes you the happiest, and may not be the thing that the divine only wants for you or solely wants for you. It's what you are. Yeah, the truth. It's like where you're meant to go. It's something that you're meant to cut out. It's something that you're meant to stop doing, or something that you're meant to start doing in order to help you to be successful, in order to actually get to your Four of Wands, aka the promised land. And the promised land keeps coming up. The word promised land keeps coming up because I believe and I feel that it's something that Spirit, the divine, has spoke for you, that you have to learn how to figure out how to get to that. And a lot of that has to do with you accepting yourself and taking accountability and responsibility and for yourself, like 1000% yourself. You can't control what other people do, but you can control what you do. Yeah, Star card and the Queen of Pentacles has a lot to do with healing. Deep healing. This has to do, again, with security. This has to do with structure. This has to do with your values, your commitments, the things that you've bonded yourself to, the things that you invest in, the things that you tend to. And Spirit really wants that to be something beautiful. I'm also getting a strong sense of astrology, looking at your astrology chart, looking at your natal chart, and seeing and understanding, this is what makes me me. This is what makes me tick. Now that I know that about myself on a cellular level, what resources and help do I need to incorporate or invest into my life in order to help me to be successful, instead of accepting that this is just my fault and working so hard to walk away from that, or once my fault starts to be highlighted and seen by someone or something, instead of me walking away from it and being like, well, I guess this is where the road ends, it's investing in the things that help heal the fault or help strengthen the fault so that you can be successful. And that has a lot to do with you walking away from this this car crash, you know? It's like you know this about yourself. You know this about the situation. Spirit, what else do we have here? Guys, I also have my yoga mat over on the right side because I was doing some stretches and some yoga this morning. Yeah, Three of Swords and the Queen of Wands. You might hear some, yeah, Six of Swords. Jesus, I do not like this energy at all. You might hear some news. I hear it's something like an information coming down the pipeline of someone, especially having to do with the Queen of Wands, giving, I don't want to say gossip, but giving the truth of a matter. And just, it's like the way that she's showing up, it feels like it's like facts only. Like she's just telling the truth. And something about that truth kind of it really hurts. And it forces you to have to move on. It forces you to have to accept that this is a loss. There's something about this, though, this Queen of Wands, that brings out the Queen of Wands in you even further, where you become the embodiment of independence and you become the embodiment of charisma and magnetism, where you realize that whatever it is that maybe was taken away from you, whatever it is that you're learning about the situation, it triggers you because it is a part, like it is you. For example, if this is like someone who got the job and it left you without the job, you realize that there's a part of you, what Spirit wants you to know is that it could have been you, right? So that's why it hurts, because you're like, I know that I would have been a good match for this. I know that I would have what it takes. I know that I'm charismatic. I know that I'm gorgeous. I know that I'm blah, blah, blah. And that's really where the hurt is coming from, not the actual loss itself. And the fact that you can sense that means that there is something out there that chooses you. It just has a lot to do with karma and fate here. Yeah, the Hermit card. Some of you guys just don't want to be alone right now. Some of you guys just don't want to be, some of you guys are working from home, isolated. We have the Devil card and we have the High Priestess. You just really are sensing that this is interesting. Some of you guys are, you got to be careful, right? So you don't want to force something before it's time, and you don't want to force a connection, and you don't want to force a job that you then become committed to that is not going to foster your growth. And you can mourn the fact that it's not your person, or mourn the fact that this is not your position, or mourn the fact that someone else got the opportunity, or whatever the case is. But don't wish for it and try to manifest and bring it back in, because it doesn't have the best energy on it. Spirit, clarify the Devil. What is it about the Devil? This card wants to come out. Yeah, it's just, you would be fighting for it. It would be a fight, a war zone. It would constantly, yeah, Eight of Wands. It just feels very, it feels very energetically draining. Yeah, with this Sun card here, well, Queen of Cups, Sun card, Five of Cups, there's something that you are actually aware of. Even though the Sun card represents happiness, it represents things 1000% coming to light. There's something that it is that you're already aware of with the Devil energy that you know it's not a complete match. So let's say this is an opportunity, a job opportunity. This means that in order for you to take on this job opportunity, which seems like once of a lifetime, you would have to leave behind your family or leave behind your child. And what it is required of you is not something that is going to be long-term fostering goodness for you. Let's say this is a person, you know that this person, something about them, they might be fighting their own demons. They might be quick with their tongue. The way that they say things sometimes could be offensive and leave you left out, leave you abandoned, leave you feeling like, what the fuck? Like, what just happened? It's something that if you would have gone with this opportunity, or if this opportunity would have chosen you, it would not be a healthy connection for you. It would not be a healthy thing for you. Two of Swords. It's like something that you need to protect yourself from, not open yourself up and allow yourself to receive. Now, the Queen of Wands, whoever she is or whoever they are, they might be on the same frequency as the devil. But you, my love, I feel like you are aware. But you being aware doesn't mean that makes it any easier, because we also have the child here. So it might be your wounded child that is craving the devil, that's craving this, because there's a part of you that still feels Five of Cups and wants to resolve that issue. And that's like Psychology 101. So we want to foster in the energy of you as the white horse, leading your inner child away from this demonic ass energy, because we don't want the Seven of Wands and the Three of Swords energy for you. Okay, it's about karma, it's about fate, it's about your intuition speaking to you, and it's about the whispers of the night. When you light that candle, right? I have the Egyptian temple candle burning here. Basically, when you light a white candle and you look into the flame and you allow spirit to speak to you, what are they telling you about the situation? And whatever they're telling you about the situation, do you accept it? Or do you say, I hear you, but I want this. I hear you and I know that this is bad, but I don't want to see it. So I'm going to continue to manifest it. I'm going to continue to fight for it. Spirit's just like, yeah, that's just what we don't want. Not for you. What advice? Well, let's take a step back. Anything else that we need to hear before we move on? Spirit is talking about something in the car crash or something that was left in the car. And this could be a metaphor, it could be figurative, or actual literal. I'm sorry. What was left in the car? Yeah, Seven of Swords is going back for something. Funny that's what happened. Seven of Swords reversed is literally about going back. And the Star card is there's something kind of like glittering. There's something hope there. So what is it that was left in the car? The metaphor of a car or in the actual car? What was left behind, Spirit? That is they're going back to, or that you want them to go back for. Okay. We have Queen of Cups. We have Empress reversed. We have Three of Swords. We have Queen of Wands reversed. We have Six of Swords reversed. Ten of Pentacles. Something about friendship, community, connection. Being able to, King of Cups, upright, right next to the Queen of Cups, upright. Wheel of Fortune reversed, still wants to show up. There's something about relying on people in hard times, being able to connect with people during hard times. Eight of Swords, you not having to do it all by yourself. You not having to heal yourself all by yourself. Yeah, Three of Pentacles, community. Going to other people and asking them for help, especially when it comes to feminine support. There's like a friend who likes to have a good time. There's a friend that you can call and cry to. And there's also a friend that, Empress reversed, she knows what it feels like to be down and out. She knows what it feels like to not be able to move forward. Or she might be experiencing that as well. She might have the same fate as you. And then you also might have a masculine energy here, or feminine that is coming up as the King of Cups, who is just such a really grounding support for you. So I feel like that is something to really look at in like moments of trauma for you, or moments of clarity is actually what it is I'm hearing. Like the trauma somehow brings clarity, or the disappointment brings clarity, or the assessment brings clarity. You start to really see, these are my people. And these are traits that I want to manifest within my life. It's like even seeing the Empress reversed. It's like, yo, I know that I want people around me who can relate to me even when I don't feel my best. I know that I don't have to be the leader of the pack, that I can actually be, I can feel a bit of like an asshole and just say like, you do it. I'm not doing it today. You know what I mean? No, that's not an invitation for you to be rude or to slight anyone, but it's just human. Anything else when it comes to this? Something about going back to or building connections with the people and friends. Yeah, Hermit card. I just feel like this is a week for assessment, fate, dealings, having dealings. Yeah, Ten of Swords. This was actually upright, but I've just flipped it out. reversed just now. Strength card, it's having strength and having whatever this thing that is ending here, whatever this car is that you're walking away from, it's you being like, I know that I'm a good person. I know that I'm worthy. I know that this doesn't define me, and that I can connect to my abundance, and I can connect to my manifestation, and I don't have to force anything or anyone to come into me. I'm going to harmonize with what is right for me, both the good and the bad, and I accept both of those aspects within myself in order to have the best of both worlds and not have to sacrifice any part of myself. Okay, let's talk about advice, Spirit. What is the advice for the situation or for this week? What advice can you give to the collective? This feels very uplifting and empowering, believe it or not. It feels like I don't really get a strong sense of sadness. I get more of a feeling of like empowerment, like I can do it. It's giving me like, you know, like how kids feel after they're done watching Sesame Street, because Sesame Street speaks life into children. Or like a kid's show, but specifically Sesame Street. That's what it is that I'm getting for you this week, you guys. It's like this divine innocence that comes out to play that says, I can do this. I can do anything through the higher, like through and with the higher source, because they give me strength. And this strength is not something that needs to be forced. It's just something that is. So what's the advice? Yeah, the advice is to not spend too much time trying to invest in situations that clearly, well, as far as you know, won't pay off. The advice is to kind of, well, don't take shortcuts. Don't do get rich schemes. Don't rush into the next thing. Really do the work right now and do it with attention to detail. Don't overwork yourself. There's also a sense of balance here. That's the advice of this week. Yeah, the advice is to not, these cards really want to show up. The advice is to not run away from your heartache or hide your heartache or hide your disappointment. The more that you talk about it, the more that you get it out, even if this could be like counseling too, or venting, or many good journal sessions. It's about pouring out the truth of what your interpretation of something. Yeah, Four of Cups and the Knight of Swords. This is about you really not... You don't want to not see something for what it is, or you want to be very intentional and particular and meticulous about what you would be saying yes to and advancing with or taking with you or investing into. Okay, this is like not accepting the first offer, and Knight of Swords is asking the questions in order for you to understand what is it that is being offered to you. Is it going to be something that, I just heard, is it going to put food on the table, or is it going to take food out of your mouth? Yeah, Six of Wands, I do see a really strong level of success here and advancing from this situation. This is where you're going into. This is where you're like leading yourself. You're leading yourself up and out. Yeah, Three of Cups, there's going to be a lot of celebration here, a lot of connection, also harmony and alignment literally after a period of cloudiness, fog, and oddness, like odd behavior, odd swings and things. Like that's what it is I'm getting. I want to cut this deck in half right here because there's something here for us. Yep, Four of Wands. This card keeps jumping out. It's the promise. It's the promised land. It's literally like the promise. It's where you're headed. It's where you're going. And it feels very good. It feels very harmonious. It feels very in alignment. You're going to be so proud of yourself. You're going to be for some of you guys, you're going to be rich. Like you really are going to be rich walking out of this, or you're going to be rich in some way. So this could be rich in money. This could be rich in spiritual enlightenment, rich in marriage, or rich in love. You're going to be like, something is going to be like super abundant. Yeah, Two of Wands. What else is out there? Like explore all of your options, right? Explore the options. And Queen of Wands wants to show up again reversed. Yeah, Hangman reversed. Don't allow a situation or circumstance to hold you back from being prosperous, from being charismatic, from being magnetic, or from working your magic. Okay, Spirit, what is the final outcome for this week? You guys can't see, but I am covered in glitter right now. What is the final outcome? I feel like we're going to be talking about friendships next week. I don't know why that's coming through, or the next message is going to be talking about friendships and connections. It's like Spirit's going to start revealing to you certain connections, like truths about connections. So that's a really random message. Okay, this wanted to come out, this wanted to come out. Yeah, there's definitely newness. Interesting. Yeah, not everybody's going to be your cup of tea. But I feel like you can do it on your own. I feel like you... Yeah, and something about, like, what is the final outcome? You're going to tap into yourself buku amounts of creativity, buku amounts of abundance, depth, connection, softness, love. Something about a connection or something breaking down, or an opportunity breaking down, brings you right into, and it might feel a little weird at first, but I feel you're very capable. Spirit is talking about you are very capable, and you're full of potential. And I'm hearing Spirit saying that's not going to go wasted, or that's not going to be stagnant, or they don't want you to allow it to stagnate. So 3 of Wands, it's like, you know something is coming. You also know that something is coming in. It's going to open up the door for more opportunity. Yeah, King of Cups, someone who is just awesome. This King of Cups energy is just really, really awesome. Oh, wow. King of Pentacles here. And the Moon card. Interesting. I don't see the Moon card as a bad thing in this sense, but Spirit, clarify these 2 cards. 8 of Cups, Queen of Cups. 8 of Cups is reversed, and the Queen of Cups. So again, this has to do with someone who is looking for their divine counterpart. King of Cups, Queen of Cups here. They're looking for their divine counterpart, and they may have, through their lessons and through their confusion, they may have gone out to go look for it, and now it's like they're coming back. They're coming back. I also feel like for some of you guys, you're going to be doing an energetic, emotional, shamanic healing. You might be doing a bit of an emotional retreat. It has a lot to do with water, baptism, purification, using water, going to the water. This is going to be not only something that you can count on, that's going to be loyal and committed, and I think the word is actually like devoted, but emotionally it's going to be something that is going to be stable and safe for you, and you're going to know that you're in good hands, or you're going to embody those energies yourself. All of this came from the end of something that 4 of Cups either rejected you, or you rejected it, or you said you walked away from it. 6 of Swords, now you're moving into better. Okay, love this, love this. All right, Spirit, are there any last words? I just heard Spirit saying the mantra, I am empowered because I am healed. So the cards that just jumped out, we have 6 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles reversed, 2 of Wands, High Priestess. Some of you guys have been trying to look for, it's like you're trying to look for something for help or that will pay off, but you'll find that you are better off. It's like Spirit saying like you would actually do better and go farther if you looked for it here. So for example, let's say you have a clothing line and you're like, well, I want to, the only way that I can do high quality, high caliber work is if I work with this company that sews, you know, the bathing suits that it is that I want to sell to the world. And it's like wherever you go, either everything is backlogged and everything is, especially in today's times, everything is backlogged, so you can't find it, and it just kind of leaves you without, and you're feeling like, do I have to walk away from my dream? Or do you start to realize that you could hire in your community and find really good, amazing people, or buy bulk somewhere, I don't know, dude, like I was just talking to a friend. It's funny that I'm saying bathing suit line because that's exactly what she was talking to me about. She wants to create a bathing suit line. And she was just getting so disappointed because it wasn't turning, like, her exact plan and details and specifics of how she wanted it. It would be like blockage after blockage after blockage. And I'm like, well, girl, like, we're having like coffee together. I'm like, well, girl, why don't you just try this? Like, do this. And she's like, yeah, but, and then all of a sudden she was like, no, wait, you're right. What's this card here? Yeah, 3 of Swords. Something is really, like, might be bothering you guys this week. Or someone else's heartache bothers you or impacts you in some way this week. I don't know why this keeps coming up. Spirit, talk to me about the 3 of Swords, please. Ace of Wands, 4 of Swords. You might get really disappointed in the fact that you have to wait, or that something is not happening really quickly, but it's I promise you, it's for your own good. Especially with 6 of Pentacles here, the scale, it's for your own good. All right, guys, I'm going to move on to the Wild Wisdom Australia Oracle deck. If you hear me keep clearing my throat, it's because I've got renovations going on in the house, in the home apothecary, and also at certain spots in my home. So it's really dusty. And something about, like, the weekend, something like this weekend, like the dust really started, like, settle. So it's, like, in my throat. And the guys who were doing it, they and his wife, he would ask, like, so how's the dust? I'm like, yeah, I don't feel it. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Everything's great. And then this weekend, I guess it settled, and I'm just, like, struggling. But we're almost done, and then as soon as Astro Chat Live resumes, you guys are going to see the new space. You're not going to be able to tell too much, but I'll be able to, and it's going to make a big difference in my ability to create. Okay, look, mystical power with the pink robin. What else is this energy of this week? We have the magpie, intelligence. Yes. And then what's the last one that we have here? We have synchronicity. This, I was going to say, this, I just feel a lot of magic this week. I feel a lot of fate. I feel a lot of divine order, divine connection, and things just happening exactly like you speaking it out, you knowing. And as I said, at the base of this card, speaking out, we have a green tree frog, and this is express your truth. So this is like you saying, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is what I understand. Spirit, bring this into my life. I am ready. I need this in order to be successful, or I want this in order to make my path to success more effortless. Bring this into my life. And I see it popping up, just popping up, like these random, like, plumes of flowers budding, like pop, 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 pop. It's giving me like Fern Gully vibes, where it's like things start to really bloom and prosper, but I definitely see you speaking and manifesting it into existence, all right? Sometimes it's not 100% of you relying on your intelligence alone in order to make things happen, but your intelligence will guide you into knowing what is that you should ask for or how to ask for it. And synchronicity and you working your mystical powers is what's going to bring things into alignment, especially for this week. And allow fate and karma. Like, don't fight fate and karma, guys, or don't fight anyone else's karma for them. Let them deal with the situation, just as your guides allow you to deal with your own lessons so that you can learn and grow and be a better person. All right, my loves, that's the message for this week. Feel free, and I please invite you to join me for Astro Chat Live, which will be resuming on August 1st at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time so far, or maybe 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I still haven't decided. I'm going to let this truck pass. I would love for you guys to let me know which one that you do prefer, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please let me know down in the comments. Until then, I want to invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel because there's plenty more videos where this came from. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.